In this video, I'll be showing how to make the best steel auto farm in Roblox Islands. You can get hundreds of thousands of steel this way. The max is 1 million, and you can get to that very quickly by making this. You can do this on both PC and mobile and customize it to any length that you want based on how many supplies you have to build it. To do this, you'll need all of the items I have in my inventory: grass, steel mills, industrial chests, industrial smelters, input-output chests, coal totems, iron totems, and conveyor belts. For every steel mill you have, you'll get plus 3,000 steel per day from this auto farm, and the limit for that is 2 million per day, so you could use a lot of them and get that many in a day, but the limit for steel is 1 million, so you can't really get that much, but you'll get to the max fast. If you don't have a lot of those items, or you want to get more to make this an even bigger auto farm, then just trade for them. I made a video on how to trade, so if you need to know how to trade, I'll link that video in the description if you need coins to get these items. Also, don't trade for the steel mill. It's super easy to make. You just go to here, and then you can use iron and gold to craft it. If you don't have enough iron and gold, just trade for it. But now I'll show how to make it. So first, you want to build a wall like this, and then another wall on the other side. If you're on mobile, have 2 spaces, and if you're on PC, then just have 1 space in between. I'll explain why that's important later, but first you just want to build a wall. It doesn't have to be like my base is a huge tower. You only have to have a 2-block high wall here, and then another 2-block high wall on the other side. Now you'll want to get your input-output chests ready. So make a hole somewhere in the wall on the bottom block like I did, and then put an input-output chest in there. And then after that, put a steel mill. Then put the steel mills in a line right by each other, the closest you can get, and then once you're to the end of however big you're planning to make it, you should have something somewhat like what this looks like, where you have an area right here that you can walk through that goes through the entire farm, and then you have an input-output chest here and a steel mill. By the way, after you put all the steel mills, just make more holes for the end of the input-output chest, and then keep putting more. It's important it's an input-output chest instead of an industrial chest, because input-output chests are bigger, so you'll have more space to open them. You'll also see why that's important later, but you'll just want to have like what I have right here, where there's a steel mill and an input-output chest. Next, you want to put a conveyor and then put a coal totem on both of the sides. Now this will power the steel mill. Now you want to repeat that for all of the steel mills. Just put a conveyor right there, and then put some coal totems by it, and then after that, then put a smelter there. Now, after the smelter, just put 2 more conveyors, and then on one side have 2 iron totems, the other side 2 more iron totems, and then at the very end a coal totem. Now, if you do all of that, then you should have something that looks like this, where you have the exact same type of auto farm. It doesn't matter if you use stone brick or stone, you can just use grass or any block that you want to, but you should have something like this. It can be way smaller, way bigger, it still will work no matter what you make. If you're on PC and you don't want to turn this into an auto farm, then you can stop here, because I did the math, and it will take about 2 hours for one of these input-output chests to be full, and then you can just collect them every 2.5 hours, but now I'll show how to turn it into an auto farm. So you'll need a macro for this. A popular one is called Tiny Task, and by the way, quick disclaimer, macros were said to be allowed by the staff on Island's Discord server. Same with auto clickers. So what you want to do is you want to have the macro open, and then you want to be standing at this part of your auto farm. By the way, after this, I'll show how to do this on mobile. So what you want to do is, once you have the macro ready, you'll want to position your mouse perfectly. So step away from this a little bit, and then to position your mouse perfectly, you want to open up the chest, have it over steel, and just try to stand like this. Now, try to make it over here where my mouse is, where it's closer to the second slot in the chest, but don't have it in between, because if you click in between, then it closes it. So just have it like right here. And then you'll need to also have an auto clicker. So with the macro, what you want to do is you want to start recording the macro, and then you'll want to just press W, or actually hold W, and then spam F. So this will open up all of the chests, and then you'll be walking forward, and now you see the purpose for the wall so we don't randomly walk away. And then once you get to the end, then you'll want to walk back. Now I recommend not to sprint, because since they made chests like this, they lag a little bit, so if you go too fast, the chests won't open, and if you press F too fast, then it will lag a whole bunch, and that's not good, because sometimes if you lag a lot, then it like freezes and stuff. But once you're back, stop the recording of the macro. So now you'll have a recording, and you might have to retry it a few times, but if you do it successfully, it should work like this. Now you'll need an auto clicker. A pretty popular one is called OP auto clicker, and then you'll want to have both of them on at the same time. So play the macro, and then play the auto clicker. So this is what it should look like. I'm going to speed it up a little bit so you don't see me just walking for 30 seconds without saying anything, because that would be a little boring. If you make this long enough, theoretically, you could get 30 per second just by every time you open the chest and click, and if you don't have a high ping like me, then you can collect it from the chests faster, so you could get even more than that. Now, I might make a completely new account and just make an insanely huge steel auto farm and make it go all the way along my base, and then I'll get max steel very quickly that way. This is one of my only farms that I say how to do it on mobile, because, well, most auto farms just don't really work on mobile. Luckily, this one does, but you'll need a lot of conveyors for it. So you'll need to have 2 spaces here, like I said you should have earlier if you're on mobile, and then what you want to do at the very beginning, you'll want to have a conveyor that turns right, and then you want to have a whole bunch of normal conveyors that can take you to the very end of your farm, and then you'll want to have a conveyor that turns left, and then on the second block right here, put another left conveyor, and then put conveyors that go all the way back. So it should basically just be an endless loop of conveyors so that you can go around the entire auto farm. And then I don't know if on mobile I think there are auto clickers, just try to get an auto clicker on mobile. But then you'll want to set it the same way so that it auto clicks right here, and then you don't have to walk though, because they're going to be conveyors. That will mean it will be a little slower, because conveyors are kind of slow, but that's kind of the only way to do that on mobile. But if you go to the App Store and search like auto clicker or something, I'm pretty sure there are some there. If you want to, you could make this an iron auto farm if you remove the steel mill and just put the smelter right there, right by the input-output chest. And you could also make this a different auto farm, like a coal auto farm or something, if you just had the input-output chest, some conveyors, and the totems. But you could really do a lot with this auto farm, as long as you do the thing where you have the blocks right here, and then you just do the thing that I just showed, then you can get a lot of whatever you're trying to get. But steel is going to be very useful for the next factory update. Another quick tip, the more you are zoomed out, kind of less lag will happen whenever you open chests. So if you zoom out all the way, it kind of works better. But if you're zoomed in all the way, there's so much lag. Like, I tested it earlier, whenever I spam F zoomed in all the way on an input-output chest, then it literally crashes the game because it lags so much. I don't know why it does that. It only does that with the new chest menu. The old chest menu, you could open as many chests as you wanted to and it wouldn't lag at all, so I don't know why that happens. By the way, one more quick thing, I just updated my value list, so it's going to be linked in the description if you want to see the values of all of the new items. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments, what do you hope they add in part 2 of the factory update? I really hope that they add new tools, because we've had the same tools since May, and they already added new rods and new ores and stuff, so it would make sense if they add new tools next update. But make sure to subscribe with the notifications on for daily Islands videos, like the video, join the Discord server and Roblox group linked in the description for trading and talking about Roblox Islands, and follow my Twitter at Telanthric. I'm trying to hit 2,000 followers there and 200k subscribers on YouTube. But I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, YouTube!